Tune in. This week in car audio. Tune in. We'll be talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in. This week in car audio. Yeah. Tune in. This week in car audio.
Welcome to This Week in Cardio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton, co-hosted by Jeffrey Fernandez. What's up, Jeffrey?
Nothing much, Doug. How you doing?
I'm doing still stuck in Reno. Kind of sucks.
Bummer.
It is a bummer.
But I bet you your wallet is thanking you.
I don't think so. Like I was telling these other guys here, chat is disabled for this live stream. Well, that's interesting. I've never had a chat disabled before.
That'll make it difficult to have a conversation with the public.
Yes. Well, good thing it's not disabled on Facebook.
It looks like I'm getting a weird setup on the monitors. Well, it's showing Sean Sickles.
Oh, that's because I have not changed it.
Oh, okay.
Let me.
It looks like.
Oh, because I pushed the wrong one. There we go.
I can see half of Ray's face and half of my face.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Oh, so I can see YouTube. Anyway, so how was your week, Jeffrey? Why don't you tell me about your week?
It has been good. If you're talking about this week, it's only Monday, but overall, it last week wasn't too bad. Just try to come up with ideas. I got a show going on this Sunday, and we're in those what we used to call, when I used to compete back in the day, we used to call this the down season. Because every time after World Finals, you hit winter, and then there's like no shows until Forbidden Fantasy in March when that kicks off the whole show. But so just trying to get shows up and going again, right after finals, and it's kind of proved to be a little bit of a challenge, and it more so it's just kind of weather related, I guess. But hopefully for like everybody, I remember Dan got on the podcast here, says he doesn't bring his trailer out till spring, so sentiments felt by a lot of competitors. Dan got on the podcast. Hey, we're gonna do what we got to do, and trailer out till spring. Never too early to start getting points, I guess, right?
Yep. Hold on, wait. I got that one working. Let me see if I can't get this other one working now. Bam.
Slow and steady always wins. Yeah. Slow and steady.
All right.
Looks like we got a couple of people chiming in on YouTube here. We got SQ Sounds out of Barbados saying, "Hey, good night." We got Woody McDonald.
Oh, there we go. Now I got the chat working.
Oh, you got it? Cool.
I do. So, there we go. Cool. All right. Now I'm going to get back to here, which now if anybody types anything, it'll pop up.
Golden.
So, yes.
Start typing it in.
All right, guys. So now that I got everything set up, I got everything shared. Our guests this week are going to be Choi. That will be the bottom left of your screen, and Wyatte Meier. Somebody type in something just so I can see and make sure it pops up in here. But anyway, those are our guests. These are our judges. So if you guys have some questions, this would be the week to post them up there. Let's see. Anybody type anything yet? I haven't seen anything here.
I did a test on YouTube.
Let me see here. Let me fix my thing here. I'm going to test this one. Oh, yeah, that's the YouTube one. Did not pop up. Let me see. AX. Anyway, Ray, why don't you tell us real quick your judging history and whatnot while I'm trying to figure this out?
Well, I don't have a very big history. I've been
For
just doing it
judging,
for
you
a
do?
while.
Being modest.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a few shows globally. I'd like to continue to do some more shows globally. Um, Judging has come a long way, and the more we travel and the more we see, the better it becomes. Stuff that I see elsewhere, we bring back home, and stuff that I take to them, we spread the knowledge. And things that we see here are different than things that we see in Europe and things that we see in Brazil and Australia and stuff like that. Even in the UK, with all the right-hand drive vehicles, Japan, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Yep. All right. And Wyatte, why don't you tell us about you?
Yeah, so for those of you that I haven't ran into at finals or any of my local shows, I judge up in Wisconsin, mainly the Mideast of the United States. Haven't been any global shows like Ray. I'm not a world traveler, um, and been doing it for I think like 5-6 years now. So
Okay. Yeah, and you kind of took over for um, Jeremy Creamer, or no, not sorry, Little Jeremy.
Weber.
Weber.
Weber, yes. Sorry about
Yep.
that. Let's see here. Let me see if I can't get this corrected. Control V. Yeah, there we go. Now let's try some testing in here and see if I can get some of these things.
I mean, realistically, if I go to the U.S., that's considered international borders. So, I mean,
It is.
Exactly.
Ray has helped judge Autorama multiple times, World Finals judge. How many World Finals have you done, Ray?
I don't even remember. A lot. My first one was in 2001, I think, maybe
Oh, really?
2002. It was pretty early.
Okay. Yeah, because my first one was 2005. So,
Was it?
yeah, 2005. I got Jose Ramos in here. He's one of the guys that's going to be, yeah, for some reason it's not popping up on here this week. I don't know. Anyway, so
I don't
I'm
know. I'd
gonna,
have to look.
I can watch, I can see the things, comments. I just won't be able to post them on the Facebook page. Yep, I won't. We got hello from Eric. If you guys have rules questions, this is the time to do it. We'll ask. If you guys happen to see something that I miss, let me know. Anyway, Ray, did you see anything at World Finals that may have stuck out to you?
What do you mean when you say stuck out?
It was there oh, wrong
There was
Jose,
lots of
this is
positive
senior.
feedback.
Oh yeah, so what were your thought? What did you come up with? Oh, real quick, just want to say thank you to our sponsors, Voodoo Customs, eBox, and Crossfire Car Audio. Without them, makes it more difficult to run these shows. Um, and then, okay, so one of the questions, real quick, says anything changing for next year? It's too early for that. We haven't had a judges meeting as of yet.
I think we're all decompressing right now.
We are.
Especially Wayne and Celise. So it's like they're just MIA for like the next couple weeks and stuff. So
It's
that's
a
what we're
lot.
doing right now. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
lot. I mean-
Especially for them.
Oh yeah. Just
Yeah.
managing the whole entire thing and getting everybody coordinated and stuff like that, especially this year being like it was multi-venue, 4 locations, in Europe, Canada, and 2 locations in the US, right? It's a lot.
Uh-huh. Do you anticipate seeing any changes for next year, Ray?
Well, I mean, I got lots of positive feedback from all my guys and stuff like
Right.
that. I mean, as far as participation, I mean, if we don't have a remote location or satellite location in Canada, basically you can count on potentially 1, 2, maybe 3 competitors come to finals in the US,
Okay.
right? Because it's a huge costs, right? I mean,
It
not only
is.
are you have to take like a week and a half off work, for example, because you got to drive down there, and then the fuel cost, the meal cost, the hotel costs, stuff like that, right? So it starts to add up, relatively quickly versus, if it's somewhat local.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I had a guy that was from Winnipeg. I mean, he drove 14 hours to get here, but that's still a lot less than, 36 to get to the US somewhere. And I mean, the time off work is, a lot less, right? So,
Right. Yeah, time off of work, that's a cost that you have to figure into what it costs you to go to finals too.
yeah, for sure.
That's not free.
Mm-mm.
Is Jimbo? Oh, you're gonna send Jimbo to Owensboro. Jimbo will if they do not have Canadian finals, I believe you guys would go to Owensboro, right? Because that would be the closer one for you.
Nope, California is definitely closer.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
Yeah, California is 27 hours driving, and Owensboro is 36,
Oh, okay. Oh, dude, considerably closer.
substantially.
Yeah, I mean that's 16 hours of driving alone. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's cool. Wyatt, do you see any changes for next year?
Yeah, I don't really see anything major. I feel like both us judges and the competitors, we're a little bit fatigued, right? Because we've had a few, not super major, but class shuffles and other, clarifications and rule adds. So I think, the less changes we can make for next year, maybe it comes down to just making some clarifications. I know there were a few things in Owensboro that, as Jeffrey, myself, Darren, we were walking around pre-judging. It's kind of like, well, we saw some stuff, and it's like, it doesn't violate anything, right? But it's like it should be called out. And so maybe some just minor tweaks really is what I kind of see. But who knows? Once we get all of us judges together, maybe someone else saw something different in their area, and we need to make a major change. But I hope not, personally.
Okay. Do you have any of that stuff you'd like to share that potentially that you saw that would be borderline?
Yeah, I don't remember anything specifically with the cars. I think Jeffrey and I both talked for a little bit around more clarification just between like cyclone and freestyle and how that transfers over to drag. Because there were some times, we had some conversations and it's like, well, Pro Stock 5K and drag says you can't do this, and you have those weird scenarios where it's, you have a wall vehicle while they're automatically in Super Street wall
Right.
in those other classes, right? Even though we have the wall 5K class. And so some of those things where it's I think just more for us as judges to not have a gray area, to be, kind of be able to look at it and go, well, this directly applies from here to here. And so there's no doubt about it, right? Right now, we're just kind of like, we're carrying over what we feel needs to be carried over, right? So I think more around that piece.
So in the newer formats, the cyclone
Right.
and freestyle.
Yep, exactly.
How about Ray? Do you see anything that you feel may need to be tweaked or anything like that?
No, I mean, the rules have been pretty consistent as far as on the
They have.
DB drag racing side, which has been fantastic, which has kind of stabilized a lot of things. I don't hear any big outcry for, we have to have this class or we need to get rid of this class or something, anything like that.
Okay.
Wyatt's right though, like there's definitely some stuff that doesn't overlap very well when you have your freestyle classes and you have your DB drag racing classes. And DB drag, you do have a pro stock wall 5K class, but if you're in that class, you automatically get bumped to freestyle wall, which you're definitely not going to stand a chance against anybody that's in a real wall vehicle, right? Because they're not limited by power. They're versus the wall 5K guy that's pro stock, right? I mean, in theory, you could, like in freestyle, you could have a Super Street X vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So you could, right? And I think there was in Europe or whatever. I think they did like a 70 something in like
Oof.
in freestyle wall, right? Or Super Street wall, something like that.
We didn't do so well in that class, so I kind of packed up prior to that. No,
And then I mean, Cyclone. I mean, there's just so the only complaint that I hear about Cyclone and Top Dog and or specifically Base Race and Top Dog is, competitors wish there was a few more tracks than what there is. I mean, the tracks are about 5 frequencies off, and if you're a guy like Jimbo, for example, I mean, he'll belt out like a 65 or a 66 or whatever, but because, you know, all of the boom check tracks are very far off, like he'll still do like a 59, no problem, but it's harder on his equipment because it's nowhere near where it wants to be, right? So he's got to push it to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Joel, his name's in Japanese, I believe, is what he told us when he was on the thing. He says, "Hello, Ray. Greetings from Mr. Pankadao." David Hunt, he's out of the Tennessee area. He competes there in Tennessee. Says SS2K would be nice if we had enough people interested in that class. So Ray, you've been involved with DB Drag on the World Finals level and rules and whatnot for so long. Why do we eliminate, change, combine classes in general?
Well, we want to simplify things typically,
right?
And I mean, whoever made that note is not incorrect. It's about, you know, participation, right? Like you can't support a class that's not going to have participation. I understand where he's coming from. Like if there was a Super Street like 2K class, there's a lower cost of entry, if you want to call it that, because you could do like a full build and save on some of the equipment because you're not in a really big Super Street category, right?
Right. And 2K, realistically, I mean, you can go 215s and 2,000 watts, and even if you go high-end stuff, what would you say, Jeffrey, for Crossfire, a couple of 10s that run on 2K, so probably some BMFs would be about the right subs to run for some 2K, you know, for 2K total power.
I would suggest the Neos.
Oh well, yeah.
Only on the Neos.
If you want to, I mean that the Neos will probably get people where they want to be at.
Okay, so that's what, $600 a sub or $800 a sub, something like that. No, I haven't bought any. So, oh really? So they're in like the $1,600 range.
I would say
retail.
Probably maybe like team prices. You can probably get away with just being a little bit over 1,000, but.
Okay, so just say $1,500, right? So your 2,000 watt amp. What's your Crossfire 2000 go for? I don't know what, $500, $400 retail.
Yeah.
So you're looking at $500 plus. So you're looking at $4,500 to be all in at the 2K price for equipment.
I think to be like on the top end of the competition, the competitors. But wow, if you could probably, you know, get away with like maybe just under that, maybe some XT3s, XT4s, which would be below the Neos. They're, you know, still with the ferrite motors. But man, we've seen in the past, you can run Neos, you could run, you know, the ferrites. It's just about testing, finding out what's going to work well for you. And it's not only that, you're also doing stuff to the vehicle, you know, you're deadening it, you know, big things like that. It can all be taken into consideration.
Yeah. So, but I mean, just say, so realistically, you can be nationally competitive with about a $5,000 system, right? At 2K.
A whole bunch of elbow grease and a whole bunch of work.
Oh, dude, so much work. We've had so many people on here that came in and showed us their testing book. I'm sure you have one, Ray. Jeffrey posted his on Facebook just, I don't know what, 2-3 weeks ago. So mine is, I actually have a 3-ring binder that's, I don't know, probably 1.5 inches thick. So, and that just sits in a file now. So. But anyway, so the reason we change classes and we move classes around and try and combine them is ultimately the goal is not to displace any current competitors. But if there's only 3 people participating at World Finals, we have 0 reason to have that class as a class for World Finals. Is that right with you guys?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that doesn't incur the cost for the trophy for that class.
Yeah. But I mean, here's the competitor standpoint. I mean, the Term Lab is so accurate. everybody looks online and goes, well, listen, I see their numbers. I know what I do. I don't stand a chance. I'm not going to go. Right. And that's kind of like in my opinion, like a bad way to do it. Like you should go for the experience, you know, you should
Yes.
go and support the things that you like to do. Right. If we don't support them at the highest levels, it's going to dissipate. It's going to go away. Right. If you want it to continue, you have to put the time and effort into doing it and show your support by going to shows and, you know, passing it on to your friends and getting them to come in and enjoying it. Otherwise, it's going to go to waste, because at the end of the day, we all have to make a living. You know, money has to come from somewhere, and unless somebody's got really deep pockets and wants to fund it all, it's hard, right? This way, I mean, everybody puts in a little bit into the pot. Like at your local shows, you get 20 guys, they each put in $20. Now you have, like, you've made enough money to cover the trophies and the cost of the event and stuff like that, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the exact same thing with, you know, World Finals, right? Like if we want to continue to have large events like that, we got to have participation, because the dollars have to come from somewhere. Sure, there's, like, you know, portion that comes from the, you know, trophy sponsors and selling booths and stuff like that, but we still need participation in order to get that number up, right?
Absolutely. So Wyatt, is there
So
anything? Go
I
ahead.
think he might be talking about Street Stock 2K, which isn't. I just replied to his comment,
Yes,
but
I see that.
you know, that isn't a whole lot different than Pro Stock 2K, right? It just allows you. You don't have the restrictions of needing the airbags, needing to be licensed, insured to drive, stuff like that.
Frequency cap.
Frequency caps different,
Raises
you know.
the frequency cap. Yep.
Otherwise, it's fairly similar. So if you competed in that in the past, I mean, that's definitely a good one to still be in. It just gives you a little more flexibility around some of those requirements that some of the guys that maybe have older vehicles or something, they can't meet some of the street stock requirements, right? So
Chris Gregory had something posted on Facebook, but I don't remember what it was. Yeah, he had a question. Wyatt, do you have anything planned for your area to try and build participation and stuff, or?
um, nothing in particular. My hope
Okay.
next year is, you know, I've got one guy, that Daniel Tate. He has been to finals 2 years in a row. This past year, he came down. He competed in every single format, which was awesome to see. Even some that he knew that maybe he wouldn't be competitive, you know, looking at the scores, he came down. And he actually did pretty well, because, you know, some guys had issues with their system or went over on power, whatever the case was, right? I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the lane. So my hope is to try to get more of my guys to come, not only participate up where I'm at, but also make the drive down to finals and make it worth it, right? And so that's something that this year I'm going to try to push a little more. So, you know, for the guys that attend my show, I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to sponsor one person's finals entry, so that maybe someone who hasn't gone before, they can be like, hey, I get a free entry, so now it's worth my time to go down, right? So try to get someone else down, get that word of mouth going. You know, I usually have fairly good participation in like cyclone and freestyle, right? And I know, you know, different areas are different, but that tends to be where the guys really like to compete in and feel that they're really competitive in. They enjoy it, right? Cyclone, you can play your music track. A lot of my guys up here are demo guys, have some crazy builds for that kind of stuff, and so they just enjoy. You know, they really aren't into the I'm going to test and tune and spend every weekend doing that kind of thing, which is perfectly fine. You know, they like to build and go, you know, cruise around, sit in a parking lot, or come to a show and play all day, right? So just a different way to look at it, right? And so figuring out how to kind of get those guys to be like, hey, well, you can go to finals, you know.
Hey,
And even
base
if you're
race and
doing
top dog.
cyclone,
Base race
yeah,
and top dog.
absolutely.
Absolutely. They can all participate in that. Ray, Ray's a fairly creative guy, if you guys don't know. Do you have anything planned or to try and get more participation for you at World Finals for next year?
Well, it starts with grassroots movement, is what I call it.
Absolutely.
You're never going to get a guy to go to finals unless you expose him to, you know, the fun event of DB drag racing. So 2 years ago, I started an initiative. I call it grassroots. I was taking the show to everybody's, you know, backyard, basically. So I mean, I drove 14 hours to Winnipeg to put on a show, which I only had like 3 competitors at.
Ooh, that's a tough day.
But I mean, if you don't introduce it to anybody,
Right.
Yeah.
and you don't take it to them, and they've never seen it before,
Mhm.
you're never going to get them to drive to my show, like, which is 14 hours away, right?
Right.
So, rule of thumb is if you have 100 guys competing at the 1x level, you might get 50 guys at the 2x level, and then 25 guys at the 3x level, and maybe like a half a dozen guys at the 4x level, right?
Right.
So you have to have a lot of 1x shows to get out there and just introduce the sport to people. And if you can put it in their backyard on a weekend, that really helps with it, because they're like, hey, you know what? I got nothing going on this weekend. I got to see. I'm going to pop in and just see what it's all about. And then once they catch the bug, you know, because I mean, all of the events are quite fun, right? I mean,
Yes.
we're pretty inclusive as far as, you know, family, and we have hair tricks at our events and stuff like that. We have really good awards and stuff like that. So there's just a lot of good presentation. I mean, DB Drag Racing has these amazing, you know, pop-up tents and stuff like that that look good, really good. They catch your eye from like 200, 300, 400 feet away. And they're like, hey, what's that? And they'll walk over, right? Especially once they hear the music, right?
Right.
So,
yeah. Eric Hansen wants to know, what's a 4X, Jeffrey, and how does he get involved in one?
Oh, 4X. If you look at it from a judge's standpoint, 4X is basically, I would say, like a title given
No,
to
it's only World Finals. That's the only
right.
time is
Oh,
it's a
okay.
4X event.
Right, from a competitor standpoint, yeah,
Yes.
it's finals. But if you're looking at it from a judge's point of view, it's a title given to a judge who's presided as a head judge at World Finals. I'm not exactly sure for which standpoint Eric was talking about, but yeah, like you said, Doug, 4X would be considered World Finals.
World Finals. Wyatte, you're a 4X certified judge also, right? So
Yep, correct.
the 4 of us are, and I believe Jeremy. And is that all the 4X certified judge in North America?
Darren. Oh, well, yeah, not North America.
Yeah, I think that's
Jeremy.
Yeah, because I don't think Chet. I think Chet's only 3X, and then Chemo's 3X, and I don't know about
Andy's 3X in Idaho.
Andy's 3X. So yeah, I think that's all the 4X judges. So anyway, just so you know, that's the 4X judges versus 3X. And there's a couple of 2X judges out there like Chris Gregory and Ross, Brandon Rosser, because they still want to compete. So then they only got certified to the 2X level. Let's see here. Joel says, that's my objective. I drove Canada to introduce Pankadao. So that's his. He did. He absolutely drove all the way up to Canada and wanted to, and for the sole purpose of introducing Pankadao to the Canadian guys. How was he received out there?
Oh, he was very well received. Everybody loved his there, and basically all the competitors asked if we could have Pankadao at like every show from that show until the end of the season. And I'm like, you guys know that it is not offered at finals, right? Like, yeah, but it's so much fun. We got to do it. And I'm like, all right. So we did it.
Yeah. Actually, for finals, he just did an exhibition. I'm sure you remember when we did exhibition of base race at World Finals one year in Oklahoma. And it was just an exhibition. And that's how it starts, right? Is we get a format, we do an exhibition of it, get interested in it, and then it has the opportunity to grow into a finals class. So for you guys that are interested in that, please continue. I mean, he literally texted me and says, hey, I want to start doing Pankadao. I'll come to every show if you offer it. Sure. I offered it. So he started showing up to shows and having a good time with it. So it is a interesting format, to say the least. A good thing about it is we really good for, say, like the demo guys. But that's what Cyclone's about too, is really about the demo guys. You open up the driver door, you get people in there. It's an opportunity for you guys to show off your systems. I don't know, Ray, if you have the same issues that Jeffrey and I don't know if Wyatte has them, but guys just show up to shows and they demo. Now, that doesn't help the overall show. It helps people attend the show, but if there's no value in having the show, then the locations aren't going to continue to have shows. So is
Yeah, so
that
you're talking about guys that just want to come use your event to, show off their systems
yes,
and, use your spectators to show off their stereos and stuff like
and
that.
make YouTube videos and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So is that an issue up in Canada too?
We don't have too many of those. No, I
Okay.
mean, just about everybody that comes. I mean, we get the odd person that, comes, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't have really big systems and stuff like that. They
No.
have small systems. They want to check out the big systems, right? So,
Yep. How about you, Wyatt? Does that become an issue with you guys at all, or?
No, I usually charge, if guys are just coming to demo, I charge, a lower fee
Yeah.
at the gate just to help because they're contributing to the whole event, right? So they're
Yep.
helping pay for the awards, pay for the venue, all that stuff. So,
Yep.
but it's not that much more to just compete. So that's where I usually try to
Right.
push people to be like, well, hey, for, 10 more bucks or whatever, why don't you just jump in and you might get an award, right?
Right.
And so more of those guys have started coming over to, jumping in and being like, hey,
Mhm.
I've never done this before.
Right.
I've been to shows and let's give it a try. And so that's what I think Cyclone has done a really good job of doing is pulling, those people, including those people that are tailored more to that demo side and giving them a chance to win an award, right? Because at a lot of the shows, the guys that aren't going to finals, they don't care whether it's a 1, 2, or 3X. They're there for the
Right.
show, right? And so they want, whatever the award is you're giving out for the day to be recognized, right? And so that's pretty cool for them. So
Yeah. Well, so I do have that issue here in California. We'll do a show at Nyman Shop. There'll be 100+ cars there, and then we'll get maybe 18 of them will participate, and you'll have over 100 cars there. So
well,
I do know, and that's not a gated area. It's literally you just come on the street. We have resorted to kicking them out of the parking lot area and saving the parking lot spots for the actual competitors. But because that only makes sense, right? Because it's a small strip mall thing, right? We only have maybe 45 spots, and so anybody that's a competitor always gets a spot, no matter what. How about you, Jeffrey, out there at Crossfire? You get the demo guys out there too, or?
Well, believe it or not, it didn't start off as bad as I thought it was going to be. Maybe
Okay.
maybe it's a California thing, right? Coming from
Right.
California, it started to be a problem, and then when I came out here, I kind of wanted to nip it in the bud right away. So like Wyatt did, I was charging a demo, what I call the demo pass. So essentially, the venue that I was hosting events at Crossfire, there's basically two entrances you can get into. So I blocked both of them off, right? And then one entrance, you're only allowed to come in one entrance. So at that point, I'm like signing up competitors. Oh, are you demoing? You coming in here to demo? Boom, it's so much. Um, and I think that after a while there wasn't really a need for that because it wasn't so much that the demo people would you know which I've seen in the past would shut the show down,
Mhm.
but it actually assisted in it. Maybe now
Yeah.
in its early stages, um, but I kind of stopped doing the extra demo pass. You're coming in, just and I got to thank the competitors and a lot of the other guys too to kind of I guess police it. But like when we do special stuff, like when we do the awards or when we're doing head to head in some cases, uh basically they'll say, oh, let me let the guy know, no demos right now, and stuff like that. So it hasn't been that bad.
Okay.
But then again, I mean, it's probably the venue we're in. We're not really next to a restaurant or something like that where the demo guy is just blasting, for a whole hour straight. We're in an industrial area where, some of that's probably, gonna attract some people to come and check it out. So it's not as bad, but you know,
Yeah.
hopefully it stays that way.
David Wayne Hunt says no hashtag no demo, bro. So I did see a question on there. Was Jimbo going to Autorama? And Ray, right now, you guys plan on going?
Yeah, as long as nothing crazy happens. Like last year, we planned to come to Autorama too, but I went to get my passport renewed so I could come, and then the entire Canadian government shut down because they
Yeah.
all went on strike. All like 10,000, Canadian employees for the government, so they shut everything down. So I'm like, well, they have my old passport, which I could have tried to use to get across, but I had nothing, so I couldn't come across at all.
Yeah. How far is the border from you?
If I drive straight, about 5.5 hours to the border.
That's a 10-hour drive if they turn you back for
Yeah,
nothing.
Mm.
that would not be fun.
No, it would not. Anyway, so is Jimbo gonna be on the podcast next week?
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh, really? He's not
Yeah.
living with you anymore?
No, he hasn't been living with me for like a couple of years.
Oh, I did not
Well, that's
realize
not
that.
true. Okay. I did see him like on Saturday night, but I didn't talk about the podcast or anything
No,
like
I
that.
know. No, I had
We
I
had my
had
mom
him
and
in
dad's
there.
birthday.
I
So.
texted him. He says, "Hey, what day, you want to come on?" And I texted him the day, and just never heard. So,
Yeah,
but
then I'm sure he'll be good.
yeah, I think
We're
he
we're
will
off
be
on
too.
Mondays because we're closed on Sundays and Mondays, so there'd be no problem.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I texted him. So most likely we're gonna have him on, multi-time champion, all that stuff. You know, I'm sure it wasn't without any help from Dad, but he's been hanging around your shop for since he was
Man,
freaking
I have
tiny.
pictures of when my kids were like a year or 2 years old. Like I had my kids hauled around to all these shows like when they were little. I have pictures of all of them like holding the cars when we were like, you know, on my extreme vehicle back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and for you guys that don't know Ray, Ray takes pictures of everything. He has so many pictures, and most of them are for nobody to ever see again but him.
Yeah, I
But
don't even go back and look at them unless somebody asks me to. I mean, I've had to revisit the photo archive a couple of times.
mhm.
We did an event in Brazil, and a couple months later, same competitor went to another event, and all this online stuff about, well, how did this guy pass? This is illegal for no wall and blah blah blah. And I'm
Right.
like, well, here's the pictures of what it was when I judged the vehicle. This is how he competed. I mean, it's been 2 months. The guy changed it, like
Yep.
obviously,
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
Yep.
There
Yep.
was
Yep.
another time in Europe, and then there was one other time. Oh, just recently, they're talking about a vehicle that had a lot of sound deadener on the floor. So I had pictures of, what looked like the year prior and what
Oh.
looked like the year after. And the year after, it had like 11 or 12 inches of sound deadener on the
Oof.
floor.
That's a lot.
So it's a clear difference. We're like, oh no, it was like that last year. I'm like, yeah, no, it
No, it
wasn't.
wasn't.
Here's the picture that shows you that it wasn't like that. But I mean, that's it. I don't ever share them with anybody.
Right.
The odd picture I'll send to Lisa if we're doing the rule book and she needs some pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then every audit that I do for a world record, I take pictures of everything so that if anybody anything comes into question, I can go back and say, here's what we audited. This is what we looked at. These are the things that verified that it was good, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna
yes, I
start
still
doing
use
that.
an old school camera. I don't
Yeah.
use my
Yes.
cell phone. I actually have a regular camera that I take pictures with.
Ah.
It's not the disposable one, right?
Yeah, I get like 100 of the disposable ones. I just keep snapping pictures and grabbing another one.
Are you planning on going to Brazil again or
Yes.
okay?
We're not sure when. My guy Louis down there is in training right now. I was
Uh-huh.
down last year I don't remember what time last year. Sometime last year, anyways.
Okay.
At that time, he was just coming on as a DB drag racing judge. He's been having a whole bunch of 1X shows. He's getting a lot more comfortable with the software and the clamps and understanding everything and stuff like that. He does some other punk it out type events and stuff like that. So he is a show promoter. So he's familiar with that kind of arena and doing stuff.
Mhm.
Actually, Alan was just messaging me the other day and stuff like that, saying that,
Okay.
they just had another 1X event and things are going good. He's learning a lot. Stuff that I'm hearing from the other competitors are saying that, that he's come a long way. He's kind of pretty much up to speed on, how the term lab works and, how to set up the multi-monitor and just all the little things that need to be learned and understand, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see here. Oh, wrong one. Yeah. So somebody texted me and asking me to go to Brazil.
You should go. It's a good event.
Um, Let's see here. I gotta see.
Did they
who it
tell you to
was.
bring Visa gift cards with you?
No.
Is it Antonio?
Antonio emailed Celisa and I at the same
Yes.
time asking.
Yeah, Antonio Costa, right?
I think so. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. And anyway, yeah. So Antonio, that's the one who was asking me. So I'm supposed to get him a price to fly out there and all that stuff. So
I just tell him it's expensive, but
I
it's
did.
hard. Like,
I did tell him. It's me. I don't think it's you, Joel. That's asking for him to go to Brazil. Anyway, yeah, Joel says he'll go the next time you fly out there or whatever you go. Let him know, and he'll drive his car down there.
Where,
you
to
can
Brazil?
drive. You can definitely drive from the U.S. all the way to Brazil.
Yep. So, but anyway,
You drive, and you got to go through a lot of different countries. So yeah, you probably got to make sure that you have all your visas straight for all the different countries that you're going to be driving through.
oh, yeah, I forgot about that part. Oh, good Lord. Because each one's different or potentially different.
Yeah, some countries are easier than others. So
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went to Brazil, I'm telling you, I had to produce a stack of documents that were like this thick because they wanted to know that I wasn't going to be a burden on their, social
Economy,
system
yes.
there,
Yes.
the economy and stuff like that. They wanted to make sure I had a positive bank balance for the last 18 months. I needed to show them that my taxes were filed and everything else for the last 3 years consecutively. And I needed a letter, and I needed to know that my health was good. Like there's a ton of hurdles to get through. I sent it in the first time. They sent it back, and they said they needed more information. I sent it in a second time before I got approved. It was crazy.
Is it just because you're Canadian?
Well, I don't know. Maybe. But no, because Wayne had to do the exact same thing that I did in order for us to go, because Wayne went too, right? But now it's way different. So Brazil's changed our classification we're considered like a friendly nation now. So I can fly to Brazil anytime without a visa now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And other countries like Japan and Australia, where we're doing shows and stuff like that, you have to do what's called the digital visa, and they're super easy. You just go online to the visa thing, you enter all your information, and then it automatically tags it to your passport. When you get to the country, they'll scan it, and it'll show up right on there digitally, and you're good to go.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us also, Ray, about your little getting points for World Finals end of the year. So how does all that happen and come about and whatnot?
What do you mean getting points for finals? It's standard. Everybody has to get like their set finals, 75 points or 50 points or 25 if you're extreme.
No. Up in Canada, where you have 4 shows a week or whatever for the last 3 weeks or
Friday,
something.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
Okay, so our process typically for us.
Oh wait, I just want to be clear though. I'm not opposed to it in any way. I think it's a cool idea.
So to reduce the cost of entry for competitors to make finals, we were trying to do events that would group together. We'll do a Friday night show, a Saturday show, and a Sunday show. All of them are typically about 2 hours apart, so it's a lot of work still. But we'll drive for example, we'll drive from here to Lloydminster, which is 2 hours and 35 minutes approximately to get there. We'll do the show on Friday night, pack up. When we're done the show at around 10 or 11, we drive from there to Saskatoon, which is about another 3-hour drive. So we get in at around 1 o'clock. We do the show the following day, pack up there, go to Regina, which is another 3 hours away. But it gives, potential people that want to compete at finals the ability to get, if they do the gas saver, they could get all of their points and their certification in one weekend and qualify for finals. So now you don't have all these extra days off work to go to event. You don't have all these extra hotel fees and meals out and stuff like that. You could do it in one weekend and take the rest of the summer off and enjoy some family time, work time, whatever other time you want to do, Yeah, so I mean that, and that's how we did it. I mean, that's how I started and it's good for everybody that wants to do it, right?
Yep. Well, also too is you have a very small window of weather to do it in too in Canada. Susie says it's because you guys are awesome. So
our window of time is like May to September. That's all we have. So we have 4 months. and even sometimes at the end of May, we'll still get snow. Like we've had snow in June before too. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. So our window of competition season is very small. Unlike Jeff here, which is having a show November 12th.
Well, it was well, we typically have our shows in Sacramento, Fresno, right, in California, and I mean, it was all the way down to like 65 degrees this weekend. So,
Oh
you know,
my God.
65 degrees.
Oh,
yes.
it's a
My
heat
gosh,
wave. It's a
I
heat
think
wave
we're
for
at
those
like in the
guys.
20s right now.
Yeah, no, actually, so in Reno, I came in last Monday and I showed on the podcast. It was 17 degrees when I showed up in Reno. That's Fahrenheit for you
Yeah,
Canadian people. So,
that's about
um,
-5 or -10 or something like that.
yeah,
It's colder.
cold as hell.
No, no,
Susie
no.
says minus
Uh,
17 last week.
Oh.
we've
So,
had like -42 here, man.
well, it was cold because I was working outside that day. So that was cold. I brought my winter jacket after that. So
I'm surprised you don't have one of those Milwaukee heated vests or whatever.
no, 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 no. I'm of Scottish descent. We're warm-blooded folk. So, um, but yeah. So Wyatt has a similar issue, right? Where you don't have your windows small for shows, right?
Yeah, I can, I've done some shows toward the end of April. Normally it's, in the 50s, 55, which isn't horrible, but usually it's very rainy.
Mm.
And so, I can still do a show in the rain, but participation and the enjoyment factor, right, is a lot lower for people. So I usually, same thing, try to start like very early May, and then, usually can go into September, but no problem. But then we start running into points cutoff, right? So I have to
Yes.
balance that, and then your normal family social stuff going on, and you're getting into the fall time and whatever. So definitely a similar-ish season.
Oh, yeah, Tyler says at 1 year at finals it was snowing. I mean,
It was.
it was, and it was pouring rain here at the same time in California.
Wow.
The indoor venue is freaking awesome for California. I'm just saying.
Well,
So,
we're still looking for one in Canada. If we can find one, it'd be awesome.
yes. One of the things that somebody brought up to me, do you guys have the Spirit Halloween stores up there?
Yes.
So they typically are empty for the rest of the year, and you may be
Right.
able to rent one of those out relatively cheap.
Ah.
Is
Well,
what
the
I heard.
problem is finals is like at the beginning of
Oh, that's right.
October,
No, you can't.
and
That's
they're
right.
like right busy then because they
Yes.
come in at typically end of August, beginning of September is when they start coming in, the Spirit
Oh,
Halloween stores, and they
okay.
run right until typically they stay open until about the end of November because they want to liquidate the last of their costumes and stuff like that.
Right.
So they're definitely full up and there's no way.
Oh,
And
that's
then
right.
for us in Canada, we have a whole bunch of regulations for running cars inside. Like I need fire marshals and all kinds of crazy
Oof.
stuff.
Yeah, we didn't even have a fire marshal at the one in California.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Uh-oh.
The
You're
the
lucky.
lady opened the gate for us and said, "All right, just text me if you need something." Says the
And that was
bathroom's
it.
right there. That was it. Um,
She's
oh,
a keeper. Are you guys doing finals in the same location if we're doing
hey,
multi?
that was cheaper than the tent that we've used in the past in California.
Seriously.
Wow.
Seriously, that
Damn.
was $200 cheaper than the tent.
Then
Damn.
renting a tent for finals, right?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh,
big white tent that we normally had
yeah.
for finals. That's $200 more than that indoor venue with a bathroom that flushes. So,
Yeah. Indoor venue for the win for sure.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Susie says she's working on one for you guys for next year's finals,
Oh,
2024. So, um, uh, Jeffrey, just saying, your participation's been up quite a bit in the Texas area. From where you started, obviously it's growing,
Yeah.
and you're doing a
Knock
really
on
good
wood,
job
though.
with that. Yeah, you've been really. Um, uh, do you guys have any expectation that you guys can grow large enough that potentially have another northern North America location?
I don't know. What'd you hear?
Oh, I'm just saying, is that something you guys would like to shoot for, or
I believe so.
Do you think
It
you can
seems
pull that
that
enough participation for that?
I think it has to do a lot with knowing about the area first
Hmm.
and foremost, and finding, a location. It's something that we'll probably have to rely on, help from the local competitors out here. I think if we could lock that down, or even get it out there that we're looking. I think Solis at one event had asked like a few select competitors, hey, um, maybe said something about finals coming out this way, and man, I probably had like uh, 10 people tell me, hey, so finals is going to be in Texas, and it's like, whoa, 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 but
No.
I think im as important as an important than getting the actual venue itself is maybe getting the word out there that hey, there is some interest.
Hmm.
And why wouldn't there be? I mean, Texas has produced at multiple world champions at every world finals since, I don't want, like, I'm patting myself in the back, but since I got here. So
Yes.
I mean, if that's kind of like, one indication of hey, we're going to we're going to the right direction. um it's looking hopeful. It's looking hopeful, but
And
ultimately
Texas is big.
is
It's so
big.
big.
Yes.
I'm
And
telling you,
Yeah.
Ray knows because he drove across it a few
oh,
times.
I didn't even drive the entire Texas. I was in Porter Annis, Texas, and I
Mhm.
was driving up to Sacramento, and I mean, I drove for 12 hours straight at like 75 miles an hour.
Uh-huh.
Okay, other
Uh-huh.
than just to stop to get fuel, and we still weren't out of
Yeah,
Texas yet. Like I'm
that's
telling
like,
you, 75
yeah.
miles an hour for 12 hours, and we still hadn't exited Texas yet. I'm
That, I
like,
think
how
that's
big
the
is this
going joke. That's the going joke for people driving through Texas that haven't drove through Texas. Is like, they'll be on the road, like you said, 12 hours, and they're still in Texas. So
Yeah.
it's
You can do the
it's
same
kind
thing
of
in
funny.
California, coming from San
Exactly. You go
Diego, going
north.
to Oregon.
Yeah.
Holy good
Hmm.
Lord, you just drive and then you go, oh, it's just over that next mountain. Nope, another set of mountains. So, yeah, it's real cool. Another, I just want to bring up too, real quick. Another guy that's going to be coming on here pretty soon is going to be DV Don. So he'll be a good guy to have out here and talk about stuff and be on
I
there.
like Don. He's a good guy.
He is a good guy. He has some health concerns that take him away. A couple of times he was going to be on here and had to go. Take care of some health concerns, and so didn't work out. But no, he's a good guy, and he's definitely out there. He's not a in the box thinker when it comes to car audio stuff. So he's always a fun guy to have on here. We've had on a couple times. But we are running up, almost done with our hour. Nobody really cared about the rules this week, which is awesome. Uh, that means our rules must
Stability.
be
That's what I heard.
ironclad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stability,
Makes
right?
our
Yep.
job that much more
And,
easier.
and I will say, as a general rule last year, us as judges were more accepting of the rule of you would say, hey, this isn't against the rules, that you as a competitor would have to come to us and say, within the rules, this fits, which is a different mindset than we've had in the
Mm.
past with DV Drag as far as judging. And I really think Ray was the one who kind of
I did.
spearheaded that with us as judges to go to competitors like that. Like,
Yeah, it
not,
just takes the onus off of us, right? It puts the
yep,
onus on them. If they're the ones building, they should know the rules. And if they want to do something that, you know, doesn't fall within the rules, they should find out how it fits in the rules if they're going to do it. Otherwise, it's just not allowed. It makes it
correct.
way easier for us. And we're not in a defensive position all the time. It's just like, hey, you know what? We're here to help you out. Show me where in the rule book it says it's okay. And then we're 100% okay with it. And if you can't show me where it says it in the rule book it's okay, then we're not going to allow it. And then that takes all of that, bantering back and forth and everything else off the table, right? We don't have to contend with it.
Yep. And I think
And
that
it
was a great thing to move forward with. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, even the basics.
Yeah.
Some people are still kind of stumped a little bit. Believe it or not, at finals we had a competitor who's he didn't have 30-inch clearance from the sensor to the seat back, and y- I somewhere there's had to have been lost in translation there.
Mhm.
Um, you know, that's why we would suggest, hey, it's in the rule book. You can read the rule book. Start off with page one because it's got some, really helpful information. If he would have read that, he would have maybe had known that there needed to be some kind of clearance, and stuff like that. So I think we just need to also, as soon as we get the rule book, hey, we'll put it out there. A lot of people didn't even know it was downloadable, just by being a member.
Yeah.
They were expecting that there was a site that they just had to
Paper
go
copy or
to,
something.
but yeah, it's downloadable. As soon as they become a DB Dragon member, they can print it up themselves. I'll tell people, hey, print it up. That you have, something to go by, and make it that much more easier on yourself as well as the judges, and just that much more having fun. So
Yep. All right, guys. So yeah, so let's wrap this thing up now. Wyatt, where do people see you, talk to you, get information about shows, get in contact with you if they want to host a show?
Yeah, so a lot of people tend to just message me on my personal Facebook. I do have Wisco Audio Productions. That's what I run all my events underneath. Either my personal page or that work. For me, I usually book my dates out pretty far in advance. I always warn the guys, if you're thinking about having a show, let me know. I already have one right now that I know for sure is happening in July of next year. Some of those shows I get booked ahead of time. And then if you're thinking, hey, I want to have a July show, well, whoever messages me first, I'm only going to do so many, right?
Yep.
So that's usually the best way. Just message me ahead of time, and then we can talk and try to get something figured out.
Okay. Ray, people get a hold of you, how and when and why and what?
The store, FX Audio, that's me.
That's right.
That's the easiest way.
Yes, if you're in Canada and don't know about FX Audio, you're missing the boat.
Yeah, I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I don't
Right.
have, yeah, man. I don't have any social media. You just gotta call me, call the store.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
And
But
he's
I mean,
always there.
people can just Google FX Audio and then
Yeah.
automatically it'll pop up, right? Okay.
FX Audio, it's not Alberta.
Oh.
Where is it at? Spruce Grove.
Spruce Grove.
Yes.
Yeah.
FX Audio, Spruce Grove. I don't know if there's any other FX Audios. So.
There's one in Edmonton because we have two stores, but
Oh, dude.
either one works. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Are there multiple judges in Canada that people can go to, like if they wanted to do an event like on the other coast or something like that?
Well, there we did have a 2X certified judge out east, but then he kind of
Mhm.
disappeared. So I don't know what happened because he came to finals in 2019, maybe 2019, I think it was. He
Mhm.
got fully certified. He volunteered his time to get his 2X certification, and then basically after that, he just totally disappeared, like gone, just ghosted everybody. I'm like, okay, whatever. We have another guy out east doing some 1X events and stuff like that right now.
Mhm.
And I mean, for us, I mean, we're pretty. I mean, 1X events, you can
Yeah.
basically anybody can do them.
Right.
That's a shop or a car group or whatever. And I encourage that all the time. Like, the more 1X events we have, the more potential we have for them to come to 2X, 3X, and then participate at finals, right? So if we get out there and we tell everybody all about it and how much fun it is, and it's good promotion for the store or whatever you're having the venue at. It's good advertising for them.
Oh yeah.
It just brings in community and the crowd and everything else.
So if you guys are listening, you guys from Canada, on maybe the other coast, throw an event. You could always count on Ray to give you some pointers, or if you need him to go out and show you the ropes. Hey, we'd like to get all of Canada to be involved.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
yeah,
honestly,
Canada's a big landmass.
Yeah,
it
is.
It's big.
We can't put it all on you.
But I will say, if you are trying to be a judge or you are interested in doing 1X, anybody can get a hold of me and I will do everything in my power to help you technically wise, setting up the events, all that stuff. I'll help walk you through it. I'll help you tell you what you need to do at the events. And I'm pretty sure Jeffrey will do the same thing. Wyatte, Ray. We want the event to be successful. The main reason we want it to be successful is because it's our name. So we are DB Drag as a group. And so we want DB Drag to flourish. And if there's a way we can make your event better because you want to host a DB drag event, we will do what we can to make it as successful as possible, because that helps grow the name of the organization, and because we always want somebody to come in and have a good time at a DB drag style event. And the best way we can do that is help you guys, even if you're running a 1X. Um, there's a lot of things that, I mean, Ray and I have been doing these events for well over 20 years, and there's simple setup stuff that just makes an event so much easier. Looking at how the cars are going to run in the lanes, out of the lanes, um, simple things like trash cans. Having
Yeah.
trash can next to the tent, a couple of trash cans out where the cars park, huge difference in the way the event runs. So, inviting a taco truck. So in California, we have taco trucks everywhere. So invite a taco truck to an event, or I don't know what they have up in Canada, freaking,
Yeah,
I
We
don't
what
just
know
do
call
they
what
them
they
have?
food
have.
trucks, okay? They're not specifically
Which
taco trucks.
Oh, we have
Food
taco
trucks.
trucks in California. They're taco trucks. And you go to the restaurant, you order taco truck tacos, right, Jeffrey?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's the
I like
little that's
tacos.
the little 3-inch little taco truck
This,
tacos,
the street tacos.
street tacos, yeah,
Yeah, I
or
like the
taco
street
truck
tacos.
tacos, yeah, street
But a
tacos.
lot of this stuff here is outlined in what not a lot of people know about. Sleece has put out a
Yes,
judge's handbook, which I mean, I have access to it. I mean, I know a lot of us
I
do.
do. Yep.
Like I emailed one to Josh Tattoo when he was covering for
Oh.
you at that event, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so hopefully that helped him out. But yeah, a lot of these ideas, and they're tried and true already, and Solis was nice enough to put them in a judge's handbook, so just readily available for people that's interested in hosting an event.
Yep. All right, Jeffrey, tell us about your event behind you.
Oh, I got a show going on this Sunday, November 12th. It's going to be at Crossfire Car Audio in Grapevine, Texas. If you guys are in the area, definitely come check it out. We're going to be doing a couple of giveaways again this event. Got a bunch of really cool swag from Sleece at Finals. Got some more bags that we can give away. We got some Finals backpacks that we're going to be giving away also. This was a good hit. These BB Drag Racing jersey. This is the commemorative 25th anniversary one, which is probably priceless for those hardcore BB draggers. We're gonna be giving some of those out. At the last event, I gave one out to the loudest of the day, and then to the first base racer to hit that .99. So they got a shirt. And then I had this one competition, which was kind of funny. I've kind of like I'll do these kind of zany competitions for free stuff that a lot of people like, and last event it was kind of funny. Let me tell you about it. It's so I had these two people. I gave them each a clipboard, paper, and a pen, and I said, start off at this far away from the tent. As soon as you write down this word, just run it up to me. First person that does will win a T-shirt. Well, so I told them, okay, Crossfire was a sponsor. I says, okay, I need you to write down the word Crossfire backwards on the clipboard and bring it to me. You'll be the winner. And it it's kind of funny. I have it on video somewhere. I'll be sure to post it. But yeah, so I want to be able to do that. It kind of got the crowd kind of involved, and maybe do more of that. We'll maybe get a bigger turnout or whatever. But yeah, so that's going on this Sunday. Um, I just checked the forecast. It should be no precipitation, maybe like 9% or something like that. So cross your fingers. Hopefully that all works out. But yeah, again, you guys are in the area, come check it out. You guys will have fun for sure.
Toys for Tots coming up too. Are you?
Toys for Tots, we're shooting for December, maybe early December. We're still working that out, but for sure, it's going to happen in Texas.
Toys for Tots for you, Ray?
No, I don't. I mean, it'll be like really cold and
Okay.
lots of snow by then.
How about you, Wyatt? Same issue?
Yep, same problem for me.
Okay. So for me, my Toys for Tots, December 10th. That would be at Nyman's, big badass show, tons and tons and tons of
Yeah.
participation. Um, I don't know, we raised, I don't know, $7,000 or something like that, just silly amounts of money. We have a raffle with like over 300 items in it. Um, it's for a great cause. We give what we, at least two trailer loads of toys. We give out to the women's battered women's shelter and the Shriners. So, it's a good thing. That's December 10th. Make sure you guys come participate. Also, Tennessee Base Racers, it looks like they're doing one the weekend of the 18th, a Toys for Tots event. So if you guys are in that area, please participate with them. Remember, this is a time for us to give back to people that don't have as much as us. And if you got enough money to buy a stereo system and participate, then you probably have more than quite a few people out there. And this is an opportunity for you to kind of share what you do have. We're all about that. Um, like I said, the car audio community is awesome. Somebody's in
Yeah.
trouble and we need help or something. We usually do a great job of rallying behind that person. So continue to do that with the Toys for Tots is
Yeah,
all I
and
can say.
speaking of fundraiser, I think who was it? It was Chris Caudell came on the show a few
Yep,
weeks ago talking about a fundraiser he was having
for Michael.
for a teammate for
Yep.
Mike Jones, and they just
Hmm.
had theirs this weekend. And wow, go check it out on Chris Gregory's site. He's got all the details, how much he's I think he estimated in getting from the fundraiser. It was over, I believe, $10,000.
Awesome.
So yeah, if there's like a worthy cause, I guess us as car audio enthusiasts, we could all come together, and help for one of our own, and yeah, we do a lot of good things together.
All right, guys. Just want to say thanks again for being here, guys. Apparently, our rules are awesome because nobody had any real questions for us to go through any rules for them, so that's cool. We'll continue to do this once a month. Uh, trying to figure some stuff out for you guys and help if there's a rule change or something. We'll bring that to you. But once again, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to Ray. Thank you, Wyatt. Thank you, Jeffrey, as always. If you guys want to check us out, come on and be here again next week at 5:30 California time. Again, the only time that does matter. So we'll be here next week with This Week in Car Audio. Peace. We're out.